I use Hamrs for logging when I'm going out to do parks on the air. And their latest version has added a rig control, which basically means you can control your radio from within the application. They're using Flrig, which is part of one of these packages. I'm not going to go over the installation Flrig. I'm going to just assume you've installed Flrig and it's working correctly. Once you get Flrig installed, once you tune your radio, you set the frequency, you set the mode, and you can change it here. I've got my radio on the bottom there. You can see as the frequency changes there. In Flrig, I'm moving it here. It changes on the radio. So basically all Flrig is doing is controlling your radio. And what Hamrs has done is Hamrs has put in some links to Flrig so that when you're looking at something on the spot page, you can hit copy. It will copy all the information, and it will copy the frequency and the mode. It will also copy the power that is being used at the time. So the rig control was, I believe, was introduced in version 2.25 or something like that. They're up to 2.25.6. Just go to hamrs.app, hamrs.app, and you can download the latest version. And they kind of give you an overview of what it does here. It's basically login, call signs, frequencies, power, mode, and parks. And I'm going to just do an example hunting parks. I'm sitting in my house and got the radio on, and I'm going to hunt a few parks if I can here. So you start up Hamrs. Once Hamrs is started, you know you have the version with rig control because it has the little rig icon there, and that icon is flashing. If you click it, that turns it off. If you click it back on, that turns it on. And Flrig has to be running at the time that you click this on. And one of the settings that you would change over here, these are the settings that you can change. That's not the one I'm looking for though. I'm looking for the one that it says config and then rig control. Normally it says localhost and the port is 12345. If you're having problems, just hit this retest connection button and it should come up, and as long as there's a green check mark there, you're okay. So back on, and they've added this, how did I get there? I was under config. They've added this back button up at the top here. Before you would have to go back to logbooks, but now you just hit back and it takes you to the previous screen you were on. So you go into Hamrs and you create a new logbook. You can give it whatever name you want. Let's call this January the 4th, 2025. And you select the template, which is POTA, Parks on the Air. You'll see that my radio is set to 28.344 and that the frequency here is 28.344, and it automatically puts in the band and the mode. It'll also put in the power. So if I adjust this power slider here, I put it down to 65, it's going to poll and then eventually come back and it'll say 65 here, so it says 65. But I normally transmit at 69 watts. So you have to put in your call. If you have used it before, it'll put it in there for you. Put in your grid square. Mine is EM1200. You don't have to put the county, but I'd put it in anyway. That's good for your logs. Let me get Hamrs. Let me get this right here so it's out of the way. And then you go down to the bottom and you click on POTA spots. And I'm going to set it to frequency. I don't want to see QRT. I want to see the ones that I've talked to before. I'm going to check 10 meters first. And I'm going to set it to all on 10 meters. I want to see all modes. So once I get my radio turned on, now I don't have to go up to Flrig and switch to 28.026 in this example, or 286. I just hit rig and it tunes it and it changes the mode. Now there's currently an issue with the selection of CW for Yaesu radios. It defaults to CW-L, which is the lower sideband. So I just have a button here where I can set it back to upper side, and I've contacted the Jarrett, who wrote the actual application, because I think it does make a difference if I'm transmitting on CW lower-L and someone's receiving on upper side. So he's looking at that right now. So I don't hear anything there. I just click the next button. Now this one is FT8. If I wanted to, I can click there. It'll change to that band, and it'll show everyone on 28074, and it changes the mode for me. Same thing with FT4. It still says data, but once you get into sideband over here, it'll change the frequency. Yep, it didn't change the data mode for me. Let's see if I have to go here. Oh, that's because they don't have a mode in there, so it just uses the last one that you were on, which was data. So I'm going to try this one, which is 28340. It says SSB, and so it populates that one with single sideband, which is upper sideband here. And again, I'm not hearing anything, so I'll just click the buttons and it changes the radio, and you can see down at the bottom it changes the
Kilo Echo 2 Charlie Uniform Mike.
Changes the frequency on the radio. The only bad thing is I can't see my waterfall. Like I can't see that strong signal out to the right.
Chilly. It's about 23 degrees, but I appreciate you hunting me. Thank you.
Now I'm hearing the activator, so let's see if I can reach him. KE2 Charlie Uniform Mike.
It's 73 to you too. Thank you. QRZ?
Kilo India 5 Whiskey Whiskey Tango.
Kilo India 5. Can I get the rest of your call sign?
Rest of the call sign is Whiskey Whiskey Tango.
Kilo India 5. Can I get the suffix?
Call sign is Kilo India 5 Whiskey Whiskey Tango.
That is Kilo India 5 Whiskey Whiskey Tango, and you are 5 and 7 in the park US 10052.
Roger that. I have you at a 5-9, and I'm at Park I'm sorry, I'm not at a park. I have you a 5-9 at North Texas. I'm right outside of Dallas.
Thank you for hunting me. I really appreciate it.
73. Thought I was at a park there for a second. So once I've made the contact, I hit this copy button right here. And it takes it up. It puts in his call sign, his park number, and we put the signal reports. I sent him a 5-9. He sent me a 5-7. I like to copy the park over into the comments. And that's just for my record. It's not something you have to do. But it'll keep track of the power, the frequency, which is 28360, and you hit save. And it creates an entry for that contact, logging the band, the mode, their park. If I was at a park, when I export the file, it'll log the park. So I'm going to continue on looking for other POTA contacts. So I'll go back to the spot page, scroll back down, and once you make a contact, it marks it as green so that you know that you've contacted them. And it stays that way until the next UTC day. So at 00 UTC, that won't be green any longer. That means I can recontact them and it'll log them again. So turn the radio back on and go to the next frequency. That was New York, by the way. Nothing heard from New Jersey. So I'll just keep going down and clicking. And we see each time I click it where it says rig right here.
5, you want to try up to 10, over? That looks good.
Trying to keep myself in the center of this camera. It's a different camera, I gotta get used to it. Okay, so I'm not hearing 405, I go on to 410, 434. Now the other side of the conversation could be talking right now. But I'm not gonna sit here and wait, I'm gonna just keep going. Looking for the ones I can hear right away. Usually if it's Texas on 10 meters, I can't hear it because it's too close. 28 to 452. It's down in the noise. It's Kilo 7 Lima Sierra Delta, but they're calling the other station that I can't hear. Nothing there on 475. Nothing on 540. Now when you get above like 475, that's where you'll hear some DX stations. So I'm looking at my waterfall, I don't see anything. I'm going to go into Flrig and manually change the frequency. Just keep an eye down here where my radio is. It's going to show it's changing, and it's going to show it changing here. Now it's not going to be an automatic change because Hamrs is occasionally polling Flrig for the frequency. So I'm going to scroll out to the right. And you see I stopped here, it changed it. So if I started logging here, I wouldn't have to worry about going back and logging the frequency. And I see something out to the right on my waterfall, but it just went away. I want to see if I can get it. There was a strong signal right there at 563, but it went away. Oh. Sounds like somebody tuning up on 28563. I'm going to go check 20 meters. and you just you go to where the bands are and you select 20, and then it changes it to 20 meters, and then you just repeat the process all again. But this time I got some CW in here. I'm going to see if I can get some CW. Alright, you hear that CW there? It's a little low. If I click it to upper, it's a little bit louder. So I'm going to see if I can make this contact. Right. Before I do a little CW, I'm going to get a little practice. I got to turn the monitor up. Alright, I got a light source coming from my camera here. That's what that flashing is. Let's turn that monitor up a little bit louder. I don't know if that's too loud. Alright, that's enough practice. I'll turn my breakband back on. With Flrig, you can send CAT commands to your radio. And I've programmed the most common CAT commands that are used, like switching between upper and lower sideband on SSB and CW. You have to keep your eye on the bandwidth on these Yaesu radios, because when you change, sometimes when you change frequencies, it will not put in the right bandwidth, or sometimes when you change modes, it won't put in the right bandwidth. So I've just got a button here that I can click to change it to 2800 for sideband and 200 for CW. Now this guy's signal has faded since I've been talking, so I'm going to move on. It's in Arizona. I normally hear Arizona okay, but I'm not hearing both sides right now. And it says QST. There it is, CQ. Didn't mean to do that. And the call sign that's calling CQ ends with a U, so that's not this call sign. So I'll move on. Not hearing any CW. And each time you click rig, it changes to blue here to let you know that it's switched over. And you can see the radio has tuned down to what you clicked on here. That's very low. I can barely hear it. I can hear both sides of this one. I just need to make sure it's K9 PM. Now, I haven't heard the call sign, so I don't know who this is. It was KK7 something. KK7 webinar or something, talking to K9PM, we hope. I heard the K9PM at the very end, but he's going at 22 words a minute, so he probably didn't hear me. I'm going to try one more time. I don't know how my power got to 50 watts. I normally send at 30 watts. Coming back to me, right there. Thank you. Five, 7, 9. Send a 559 followed by Texas. And you send a dit at the end. Readjust my camera there. Alright, so I made that contact and you hit copy. And it's got his call. I sent a 559. He sent a 579. And again, I like to copy the park number to my comments. And it logs the time. And you hit save. And you continue hunting. He was on 14059. There he is right there. So it's green now since I just talked to it. So I'll continue hunting some more. So you go back to logbooks, and that logbook is there with the 7 contacts. Hit the 3 dots, you export the ADIF file. You can give it any name you want. I'll leave it at January the 4th. Now, as a hunter, you don't upload any log files. You can upload that file to qrz.com, or you can upload it to, what's the other one? Logbook of the World, or you can import it to your logging software, because it's just an ADIF file. So when I go and look for that file right there, it's just a text file which has all the logs for the connections, your call sign, their call sign, the mode, the frequency, and so on. Each one of the contacts is separated by this EOR record. So when you go into any other application that supports ADIF files, it should be able to import it correctly. So that was the new Hamrs, version 2.25 at least, I believe it is. It might be 2.4, but it was something in version 2 where they introduced the rig control with Flrig. So 73, thank you guys for watching. Click the like button down at the bottom. Click subscribe, all that stuff. 73, Kilo India 5, Whiskey Tango.